This evening's conversation will not solve any problem, I want to forewarn you, nor will we conclude some hidden or explicit agenda. Rather, tonight fits into a larger conversation that we here at Emory are having about the nature of food, what eating means, and how we can feed civilization without harming ourselves, the environment, laborers, businesses, and more.
So, business can be this tremendous force for good, and I've always seen that was part of what Whole Foods' higher purpose is. We've done tremendous amount to lessen that animal suffering. We've also tried to be very plant food focused at Whole Foods. We've done a lot to promote plant food eating. I personally done a lot. I wrote a book called The Whole Foods Diet. I saw it out there. Skip to chapter 13, because there I lay out the ethical case for not consuming animals at all. In the book, we argue that from a health standpoint, and it's what I'll argue tonight, somewhere between 0% and 10% probably is consistent with good health.
Okay. Interesting. So for those people who have eaten meat this week, I'm here today to reassure you that you can live a very ethical life and a very healthy life. Country and confined animal feeding operations, that is not an ethical nor a healthy way of producing meat. But that's not to say that there are other ways of producing meat that are completely ethical and completely healthy for us to eat. So silvopasture is an agricultural method that I suggest and that has been practiced for hundreds of years and is a great way to not only treat the animals ethically, but also humanely and make sure that their meat is healthy for us to eat. So though my opposition may say, oh, well, there's a binary choice. You either have factory farming or you have a 100% plant-based diet, I'm here to say there's a middle ground. There's no need.
And by making blanket statements about the ethics of eating meat without looking into the way colonialism in the U.S. Has created industrial animal agriculture and concentrated feeding operations is unethical. We need to make sure that other communities, like First Nation communities in Canada, some Native American communities here, and Native Hawaiian communities in others, meat is an integral part of their cultural foodway. And to say it is unethical to eat meat completely erases those ways of being and is inherently imperialistic because it imposes cultural values and social norms on the practices of other communities from a white westernized standpoint. It may be helpful when we're thinking about to eat meat or not to eat meat to pose and look at how we can create more diversified farm systems and look towards policymaking that favors integrating plant and animal production, small and medium-sized farms, and less corporate control as a way to feed the world.
All major studies show an increase in all-cause disease and death from low-carbohydrate diets, which are equivalent to a heavy animal foods diet, since plants have carbohydrates and animal foods don't have carbohydrates. No studies of high-carbohydrate diets show similar effects. The blue zones. These are studies of the longest-lived people on this planet. There are 5 that have been identified and documented by Dan Buettner. And guess what diet these folks eat? 90% whole plant foods, and on average about 10% animal foods.
The most efficient meat is chicken, and according to the World Resources Institute, it takes 9 calories into a chicken to get 1 calorie back out in the form of that animal's flesh. The vast majority of what we feed to a chicken, the chicken expends simply existing. Because as the World Watch Institute puts it, meat production is an inefficient use of grain. The grain is used more efficiently when consumed by humans. Continued growth in meat output is dependent on feeding grain to animals, creating competition for grain between affluent meat eaters and the world's poor. There is 10 times as much grain that is fed to farm animals than is put into biofuels, even as people are arguing over whether biofuels is a human rights crime because it diverts grain into fuel, while more than 800 million people in the developing world are starving. For this reason alone, eating meat is unethical. But it's quite
all of you, most of you are very young. You can have a huge impact. You can lessen animal pain and suffering. You can live a healthier, longer life and avoid diseases. All you have to do is be conscious, eat and live more consciously. Thank you very, very much.